Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night, where tonight we have 18 drivers who put down the Easter eggs from Easter Sunday to give us a good show here tonight, where we bring you live and exclusive on Top Split TV, round 5 of season 19, Sunday Night Lights, live from Virginia International Raceway. The full layout tonight, not the infield section, but it is called the full layout nonetheless. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, great to have you back, and a fun night of racing ahead of us, hopefully.
Well, it should be, Alex. This is quite the technical and difficult track. It's definitely not one for the faint of heart, especially with the Oak Tree corner, turn number 12. It's definitely one that I've always found a bit of difficulty with, but I know that these Top Split guys will put on a great show for us, given that it is Easter Sunday, so it should be an absolutely entertaining affair, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 laps around, a very challenging circuit. Certainly one where you need to keep your wits about you. Concentration, very, very key. It's deceptively challenging around here, and one small mistake around the undulating circuit we'll see you off in the grass, and it's very difficult to come back after that. Of course, Toshimasa Hanada, a long time since we've seen him here on a Sunday night, but great to see the Japanese driver back, although, oh, look at that, we've got our flags mixed up because of the default there. Timo Vascalampi, of course, joining us once again. Timo doing the scoring for us in this Sunday Night Lights season. Car number 5 here tonight, the Finnish driver, and car number 6, Luke Whitten, leading Team Milo driver out there on track tonight, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. We've also got a couple of newer faces racing with us here tonight as well. Some people that we haven't seen so far this season. I'm looking at the 16, 17, and 18 cars here. Ricard Duran Alcron, or Alarcon, Francisco Palmer, and Tero Merienti. These guys we never have the chance to see because we've been having such big fields lately. And it's going to be interesting to see what these guys have up their sleeves for us here tonight, Alex.
Yeah, we didn't get the 180 drivers that turned out for the free track last week, but we did have enough for 5 splits tonight as the first lap times start lining up on our scoreboard. Renhofer leading the pops at the moment with 2:09.3. Great first lap there. I'm wondering, Corey, it'll be a big ask, but could we dip into the magic 2:07s here tonight? I've seen it in at least one race here during the week with a bit of draft, but I'm not sure if the guys out there will be able to do it. Track conditions look okay, but look, time will be the ultimate test of that.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex. But I do believe if anyone can do it in this field, it's going to have to be, your Dennis Johansson or your Timo Vascalampi or even your Benny Simonson. Although in saying that, Benny Simonson only clocked in 5th quick on his first lap. We'll have to wait and see what he does here on his second lap, because I think that he won't be too very impressed being down that far, Alex.
Certainly 4/10 behind, but closer to 5. But he can make that up easily in this second lap. It's a very long lap here, of course. Well, just over 2 minutes, and I expect to see the 2:08s coming out in this second lap. Kane Ryder, not a driver I'm familiar with, ANZ driver, of course. Great to see him out there. The 12-plated car sitting P4 after his first lap. Great job from Kane. Craig Briley. Biley, I should say. He's another local boy out there getting a crack. Don't know, we've seen him too often in the top split, but great to see him get a crack. Good also to see Kike Sanchez back for another run at Sunday Night Lights, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And another person that we haven't mentioned yet is John Scults. Secret little dark horse here for Milo Racing. Currently in P7 in the 9-plated car. He'll be looking for a great result here, because this will be his best opportunity with some of the big names missing to get some great results for the end of season.
Yeah, absolutely. A few Team Milo drivers out there, of course. We caught a glimpse briefly of team boss Russell Clark. There he is, down to 17th at the moment. But I think Randhofer, he's gone off. He's set... he didn't improve on his time, and Johansson's done a 2:08.9. First into the 2:08s. I'm trying to find someone that's still out there on track. There we go. Kane Ryder's done his best. Simonson, he's got up to P2. Lucetta's pulled up. Looks like Vascalampi's on a cool-down lap, as is Witten. I think most people, although looks like Skoltz now coming across the line. Let's see what we can get here for Skoltz. Can he beat it? 2:09.4, not enough to get him right at the top, but enough for P5. Great lap for Skoltz. Great starting position. Biley, he's managed P11. Sanchez, he's on his cool-down lap in P12. Grebstad, again, he's out on a cool-down lap with only 6 seconds to go, and he has not qualified where he would like to have, no doubt, as the clock ticks down. And we might go grab a quick look at our grid here for Sunday Night Lights, round 5 at Virginia International Raceway. Dennis Johansson leading us off here tonight with a 2:08.9. Great quality time there, I'll tell you what. Simonson, Benny Simonson from UK&I, just in behind him there, some 2.5 tenths behind in P2. Raphael Renhofer has joined the third step on the podium here tonight with a 2:09.2, very close to Simonson there. ANZ's Kane Ryder in P4 for his debut. 12-plated car, great starting position. P9, the first of the Team Milo drivers in John Skoltz for ANZ as well. Congratulations, John. Top 5 quality, great effort. Manu Lucetta from Italy in P6. Finnish driver Timo Vascalampi in P7. The second of the Team Milo drivers, Luke Witten from ANZ in P8. Toshimas Hanada, I tell you what, bit of a surprise there for me in P9. He usually qualifies like grease lightning, so watch out for Hanada. Kevin Henderson from ANZ in P10. Craig Biley, apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, Craig, in P11. Kike Sanchez, as we said, in P12. Going over the page, Ricard Duran Alarcon. Oh, I've had as much trouble as you there, Corey, P13. Håkon Grebstad, the only Team Ovaltine driver in P14. Russell Clark, boss man for Team Milo in P15. Francisco Palmer in 16th from Iberia. UK&I's Matthew Willans in P17. And Tero Marinetti, I'm going to go with P18 here tonight. Strength of field 34.48, number 2 for the week, which is a great effort after backing up with a massive result last week. And track temp, all important, 38 degrees, so we may not hit that time we were hoping for, but I tell you what, let's go grab the front, because red lights mean rev, green lights means go, and we are away on the first of 12 laps here tonight as the cars race down to the horseshoe for the first time. Looks like Johansson's taking the inside defensive line on the run down. A stream of skippies coming into the hard braking zone. And Simonson tucked in behind. Hanada has got all the way up to P3. He's done a fantastic job into the first corner there, Corey.
Yeah, but not so lucky was Kevin Henderson there, Alex, towards the back of the pack. Got turned around and is currently languishing down in the final position there. Unfortunate indeed for Kevin, but we're going to move back to the front of the pack now. And these guys are... Oh no, we see a Milo car going around. I'm not sure which Milo car that was.
With
Luke Witten.
Oh, no,
that is
that's a rejoin and an exploding Skippy. Henderson, his car has just exploded as Vascalampi did a finish flick spin around. We might have to grab a quick replay of that, I think, because you've got Vascalampi's done the flick spin around, Henderson coming through the snake, and oh my goodness, that car will, I think it's a write-off, Corey, worse than any hailstorm damage I've ever seen.
It's definitely not good at all, Alex, and if this was real life, those drivers would be very lucky to still be able to walk and talk, because that was one heavy impact. Going back to the front of the pack, though, Dennis Johansson still leading the field away, but Benny Simonson coming up on his left side here, almost looking at making a move. Pulled out a bit at the last second there, Alex. You reckon this is maybe a smart play by Simpson, just holding back and seeing where Dennis's weak points are here at the track?
Yeah, absolutely. As they come through the hog pen for the first time of 12, as we mentioned, there's still one Team Milo car up there, and John Scott sitting in P7, representing the Van Diemen Racing team, of course, here tonight as they cross the line for first time. Apologies, folks. I called Hanada up about 1,000 spots into turn one, but I just had the telemetry wrong as the guys now come around into the horseshoe again. Oh, up the inside, the 7 car of Renhofer's having a look up the inside of Simonson there. Didn't quite get it done, but and no harm, no foul there as we see the boys continue on unabated. There's this front pack of 7 now by the looks is certainly getting amongst it early, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And this is something that we saw at Phillip Island. These guys, even though they are single file right now, they're looking for every single opportunity they can get. VIR, from what I can understand, only has 2 real overtaking opportunities, and that is into the horseshoe and into the roller coaster. And it's very difficult to try and judge even that roller coaster move properly. These guys are trying what they can. It looks like the top 3 is starting to split away from 4th, 5th, and 6th a little bit here, Alex.
Yeah, you got Renhofer, Simonson and Johansson, although we see Kane Ryder now in P4 tucked right up behind. Side by side behind, you got Scholz and Lucetta as they head into the oak tree on the second part of lap 2, now the mid stages, and we might turn the volume down a little bit. Sorry for the bleeding ears at home as we see Scholz tuck in behind and hold on to what is P6 now, with the top 6 cars in a strong breakaway, Corey.
That's right, Alex. And looking back at our now 7th place getter, Håkon Grebstad in the 8 car, he's got a little bit of a pack here himself. In fact, the 14 of Craig Brearley, just getting around him on the entryway into the roller coaster. I said that was going to be... I definitely wasn't wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as we jump back up the front, we've got Johansson, slight gap, about 3/10 with Renhofer right on the tail of Simonson there, and it's Ryder still tucked in that draft. This front 6 starting to stretch out a bit with Lucetta and Scholz some 8/10 and then 6/10 behind respectively. Could be down to a top 4 to shoot this one out, Corey.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see if these guys can actually pull away from the 2 stragglers of Lucetta and Scholz. But it's going to be very hard to do. I mean, these guys are still within draft range and still have every opportunity in all the braking zones to try and claw their way back up towards this front pack. But at the moment, Dennis Johansson's still leading the way, Alex. It's going to be very hard to shake Dennis from that top spot because we both know when he gets going and gets comfortable in the lead, it's very hard to overtake him.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of laps here too this week, Corey, and he's had a lot of race wins too. But Simonson right up on the tailpipe now. Oh, he's got to go through this twisty section of 7, 8, A, B, 9 into the South Bend. South Bend, a challenging 4th gear corner as they go through now. You're all but flat out. You want a really early turn in there because otherwise you get spat out the outside exit of the corner as they come into the oak tree once again. And I'll just turn that volume down this time because my ears started bleeding last time round. Sorry, folks, as we head up the long back straight, aptly named the back straight. I tell you what, reckon you could launch a 747 off the back of this thing, Corey.
Oh, I definitely think you could, Alex. It is long enough, and with the way that the track just gradually rises and then goes into a little bit of a drop-off here as we start heading into the roller coaster section, you definitely get the speed up, and with that little bit of a dip, you know, you've got the lift area there as we just saw Dennis Johansson locking up a little bit behind Benny Simonson, who has taken over the lead, and it looks like Dennis just staying comfortable at the moment. He's not pushing too hard. He's allowed a little bit of an air gap there between himself and Benny a little bit, maybe trying to size up, getting a run here on the front straight, but we'll just have to wait and see, Alex.
Yeah, as they come across the line at the tail end of lap 3, now going out into lap 4. Oh, I beg your pardon, now they're starting. Yeah, no, lap 4, that's it. As they come into the first corner at Horseshoe, Simonson taking the defensive line, forcing Johansson around the outside. Meanwhile, the 7 car, Renhofer, all the while biding his time. See if he can't go up beside Johansson, but no, not this time. And all the while, this is keeping Lucetta and Scholz in P5 and 6 respectively, tucked in behind this lead 4 cars. But actually, Scholz now dropping off. It's just Lucetta who's just managed to hold in touch, some 6/10 behind that leading pack. If he's not too careful, he will get dropped, and these guys will run away with it. But the front 4 now in a tightly nested pack. As we jump back to that second pack, Grebstead now looking to clear out. He's about 8/10 ahead of Hanada and Biley as they race by up into the sequential left, right, left of 7, 8, 8B and 9. Again, very challenging section in the early stages before the tyres warm up. But once they go, it's all on as, again, this lead pack now coming around to the oak tree. Very, very important corner. Tricky. Blind, well, not blind apex, but certainly you can't see through the corner with a big oak tree there. But it leads onto this long back straight, longest straight on the course. So the oak tree, very, very important corner, Corey.
That's right, Alex. The better exit you can get out of the oak tree, the more top speed you'll have by the end of the straight. And it looks like Dennis Johansson used that to his advantage with a little bit of draft as well to take the lead back. But Benny Simonson not going to let Dennis lie on his laurels there, trying to fight back as they come into the roller coaster. Thinks better of it, slots back into the second spot at the moment. Renhofer just sitting there patiently in third. Looked like he was going to try and go with Dennis there, but backed out of it very slightly towards the end of the move. And in saying that, Simonson, terrible runners were coming through the hog pen. And looks like he's lost a little bit of ground. He might be under attack here from Renhofer as we start going towards the horseshoe, Alex.
Yeah, Renhofer definitely nose to tail there. Maybe wondering about the moves. We see Ryder now side by side with Renhofer. I think they're more worried about Johansson getting away than any overtakes themselves, Corey. Johansson very much a risk, a flight risk, you might say, as he's got pace to burn around here. But this top 5 still nose to tail as we head out on the early stages of lap 5 now, coming down into the left hook on the approach to the really nice snaking section of 5A, B, 6A and 6B, which of course aptly named the snake, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And this is another difficult section on cold tyres. You don't realise how tight those corners can be until it's too late. But these guys, as masterful as they are, managing to snake their way through the snake very nicely as we now head up into the 7, 8A, 8B and turn 9. That leads us towards the oak tree section. These guys are starting to look a little bit squirrely actually on the corner exits there, Alex. Do you think maybe they're trying to push a little bit too hard and trying to eke out every little bit of performance they can get?
Well, yeah, surprisingly, there's not as much grip as you might think in a fairly flat circuit. Not a lot of camber here, probably resulting in that sense of it being a bit more slippery than it might otherwise be. But these guys taking full advantage. But the rear of the car certainly a little bit more unstable than you might think. As Simonson now pull out to the inside of Johansson into the braking zone on the approach to the roller coaster now. Gets it done. Johansson tucks in behind nicely. We see Scholz trailing off into the background now as he has well and truly been dropped by this pack, some 2.3 seconds behind, with Grebstad some nearly 4.5 seconds behind further still. And Scholz then looking to be in a bit of threat perhaps down the track as we see Simonson and Johansson side by side again. You got Renhofer thinking about following Simonson through. Will he make it 3 wide? No, decides better of it, but thinks perhaps if I follow Simonson through I might pick up P2 on the run through potentially. Whoa, Simonson runs a little bit wide. That leaves the door open for Renhofer. Renhofer, no, can't get it done. Meanwhile, side by side behind, you've got Ryder and Lucetta keeping him honest in the background there, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And if one of these guys makes just one simple, small mistake, especially as they're heading towards those big braking zones where you can get the passes made, the rest of them are just going to jump all over that. We saw Renhofer getting very close to making the move done, and I wouldn't put it past him to take advantage of someone else's misfortune here, Alex. But at the moment, Still Benny Simpson leading the way as we are coming up towards the snaking session that heads towards the oak tree again. Dennis Johansson still right on his gearbox though, Alex. Could be another interesting little overtake that we'll see here on the back straight.
Beautiful coverage there through the south bend. There again, that sweeping fourth gear corner. Great fun once the tyres warm up. But then under the oak tree once more, we see the 1 and 2 plated cars leading the pack through once again. This time Johansson not going for the draft too early, pulls in behind now, perhaps looking to make the late run because Benny looked like he went for, Simonson looked like he went for a draft pass in return up the same straight. It's that long here, Corey. And again, Simonson tucks in behind, and will he show the nose once again? Yes, it looks like he will. This time, no, he's tucked in behind this time through as they go through the roller coaster now. Very challenging first gear corner there, down through the roller coaster section there. Now back through the hog pin again, flicks it down into third gear, over the curbs on the right hand side, then flat chat early on before the apex if you can manage it for this long run down the front straight, Corey, into the final start finish line for the tail end of lap 6.
And that's exactly right, Alex. Now we see Dennis adopting the very defensive inside line here as we're coming through the horseshoe.
I tell you what, Renhofer cut right across, didn't he?
Oh, he did indeed, Alex, and that actually opened a door up there for Lucetta to take over that fourth position from Ryder. Ryder will probably be a little bit spit and chips about that. I wouldn't put it past him to maybe show a little bit of salt there, but they continue on anyway, and Dennis Johansson still holding on to the lead, which is amazing considering that they did swap positions a little bit on the front straight previously, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys tucked in behind very closely now, looking to be the ones to beat for sure, with Renhofer now after that sideways excursion in the braking zone of the turn 1 there, tucked in right behind, and you've got Lucetta and Ryder now having swapped positions as you described, as once again they head through South Bend on the run down into the Oak Tree section. Down into third, into second gear, into first gear as you take the oak tree. Try and hit that apex without hitting the tree, of course, and get the foot flat to the floor on or before the apex to get this long back straight under your belt as quickly as possible, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex, and it looks like Benny Simpson's going to line himself up for another move here going into the roller coaster. We come to the crest of the hill, and he's pulled to the inside, clean and clear. And it looks like he's going to make that move very easy indeed. But having a look at our second little chase pack here, Alex. Toshimasa Hanada, Håkon Grevstad, and Craig Beerley. These guys have just been slowly plugging away, and they're definitely closing in on the ailing John Skoltz, who is left in no man's land all by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Skoltz now some 3.2 seconds. He's already lost a second to these guys. And potentially you've got Grebstad, Hanada and Beerley chasing them down as we go side by side on the approach to turn 1 now, with Renhofer tucked in behind. Simonson and Johansson once again. Oh, late braking. Lucetta, he's hung on to it and relegated Ryder once again to the back of that pack as you see Grebstad, the rear of his car, stepping out through turn 1 as Biley and Hanada are sitting in his wake. As we jump back up the front now, Johansson leading him through into the snake now. You've got Simonson, Renhofer, Lucetta and Ryder all thinking about strategy with the balance of 5 laps remaining in this one, Corey.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex. This is where they're all going to start making their little plans of where they're going to make the overtake happen and on what lap, because these guys in 3rd, 4th and 5th, they're not going to want to stay 3rd, 4th and 5th for too much longer here, Alex, because mostly we see the top 2 are the only ones here changing position. Although if that guy in 3rd, which is Renhofer at the moment, would choose to maybe use the draft himself, especially on the back straight here, to try and get a 2-for-1 going into the roller coaster, he could very much do so, but it's not an easy move to make, Alex.
No, it's not, Corey, as we're riding on board with Renhofer at the moment. It looks like Simonson might be a little bit too far back to make the pass. Will that open the door for Renhofer here? He's still got foot flat to the floor. Haven't heard any lifting yet. We see Johansson take a defensive line. Renhofer now lifts a little bit before the braking zone. Hangs on as they go now through the roller coaster. Oh, I tell you what, he almost missed that drop down into first gear. Perhaps thinking second might be all right. It's all right on your own as they go through the hog pen now. Nice bit of curb there. Big grab of the apex curb and onto the gas for the run up this front straight once again, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex. We're about to finish lap number 8, start lap number 9, which means we've got the balance of 4 laps left in this race. Simonson now pulling over to the left and now faking his way, going down to the right of Dennis Johansson as we head towards the horseshoe. Can he get the move made? We'll have to wait and see. No, he pulled out of that move at the last second there, Alex. Maybe wait until he gets to the back straight to try and affect a move. Either that, Alex, or I'm just going to theorize here. He's just going to sit behind Dennis till the last lap, and that's where he's going to pounce.
Yeah, potentially. I think he got a poor run out from the oak tree last lap round, and that stifled any chance to leapfrog up the back straight. But this time round, he did certainly look to show the nose without committing to the move, perhaps because he wasn't under threat from Renhofer, and that left him satisfied with his position in P2 for the time being, because they do have 4 laps to go. He's really putting all sorts of pressure over the back of Johansson at the moment. If we hop on board with Renhofer again, you can just see how little gap there is between those two in front as they flick it around turn 10 once again. Like I said, that Southman's fantastic if you can get it right. But Renhofer again, he's got the best seat in the house at the moment. Look how close Johansson went to those tyres on the inside of the oak tree there. But again, it looks like Simonson might be just that little bit far back. We'll stay on board here to see if we can get an overtake done here. Typically, you might think you come into the braking zone at the end of this little rise here because you've got the markers on the left, but that's for the alternate layout, as we see this time Simonson having a look. Johansson backs right out of it. The risk there that Renhofer doesn't adjust. Oh, Renhofer now has got someone side by side with him as Lucetta has a look. Oh, did they touch? I think they might have. Renhofer having to give it up, and Ryder gets out of as well. The risk now, Corey, is that with 0.6 of a second gap, that Johansson and Simonson might be away here.
Well, that's a very real possibility here, Alex, because those two drivers are some of the fastest that we got here in the Skippies today. And I don't think Lucetta will quite have the legs to catch up to them. And he's not even sticking in their draft right now. Going defensive over Renhofer, who was desperately trying to look to get that third position back. Going very late under the brakes too was Lucetta into the first corner there, almost slipping out a little bit wide, which I'm sure Renhofer would have taken the advantage of that. But at the moment, we're still line astern. They have caught up back to the back of Dennis Johansson here, though, Alex.
Largely through the braking of the 4-car of Manu Lucetta. I tell you what, had the inside line, stomped on the brakes and pulled it up, not only gaining on the two in front, but defending or fending off Ryder Renhofer in P4, who's now all over his back. I tell you what, he's got my vote for the hardest braking award here tonight already, Corey.
Oh, definitely, Alex. And he actually went to the fastest person on the track for that last lap with an absolutely incredible 2:08.461, which is definitely nothing to sneeze at. We're not going to get into the mythical 7s like we thought we might have. But these guys are definitely trying to push the envelope as close as they can to it. As we head onto the back straight now, Alex, it's going to be time for Dennis Johansson to think about making a move here.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be time to get it done. Oh, that's a terrible camera angle. What else we got here? Nah, we're still miles away. There we go. As we see Johansson now does indeed. And Lucetta, he showed he's got some brakes. Can he get it done through the roller coaster? Almost 3 wide. Now Simonson forced to the outside. Now get the inside through the right-hander of the roller coaster there. Manages to get, I'll tell you what, that's some driving there, folks. Lucetta, we know he's got some brakes. And Simonson, though, all class there in behind, side by side through the roller coaster. I tell you what, I've seen plenty of races end in tears at that little spot this week, but these guys get it done once again, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex. And it looks like Lucetta is definitely the bravest man on track at the moment. He's trying to go for moves that no one normally would, as the top two now are battling into the horseshoe. It looks like Simonson coming up onto the inside, Renhofer coming up on the inside as well. We got a 2x2 battle here for the first and third places, Alex.
Tell you what, Renhofer says, anything you can do, Mr. Lucetta, I can do better. The brakes up the inside there at turn one were amazing. Once again, oh, look at that gap there, Simonson. I'll tell you what, he can check your oil from there, Dennis, and I'll tell you what, he's going to put him under all sorts of pressure. Not really an overtaking zone here, but certainly where you can try and force a mistake. But Johansson, he's got a cool head and certainly not really going to fall for those sorts of games, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex. But in saying that, Dennis can get pushed over the edge. And I know that Benny Simpson is trying his damnedest to do that right now, but up the inside.
Oh, I tell you
what. And
Lucetta,
it's going to be a battle of the big breakers here going into the oak tree, Alex.
Oh, Lucetta showing that he's willing to go where angels fear to tread as he showed the nose up the inside of the south bend that time round. But again, running the risk is Simonson, or Johansson, I should say, in the lead, running away with this. Although that draft up this long runway of a back straight, keeping these guys in it. But I tell you what, they're going to want to keep their eye on that, because if they're not careful, now this is exactly what I'm talking about. Renhofer going to come up the inside into the braking zone. Oh, he got the yips, did Lucetta. He's still got the inside, but it'll be Renhofer who hits the hog pen for the first time, or in the lead of that little battle pack there for sure. But again, they run the risk of the front two just running away with it, Corey.
Exactly right, Alex, and they can't afford that, because we're coming on to the last lap right now. This is where all the chips are going to get laid out on the table, Alex. This is where the guys are definitely going to be showing how big their brakes are and how much speed they can try and generate on these straightaways. Lucetta trying to look for a way around Renhofer, but Renhofer going a little bit defensive here into the first corner. Saw Dennis kicking up a little bit of dust on the curbing there into turn one. It's going to be anyone's race from here, but I reckon the best placed person right now is Benny Simonson, Alex.
Yeah, Simonson's in the box seat, you'd have to say. But it's not all over yet, because Lucetta's certainly giving us some action out there, that's for sure. And I bet Renhofer there at P3 with Lucetta hot on his tail will be a bit nervous at this stage. Of course, he's already shown that he's willing to have a look up the inside of the south bend, Lucetta. What will he do this time around, Corey?
I have no idea, Alex. Lucetta has been an absolute surprise pack at this race. And I'm glad that we're getting some racing like this in this one, because these guys are going to be battling it out very hard here for the third position. But what that has allowed is Dennis and Simonson to pull away a little bit here. So I don't think we can see Lucetta maybe taking a second or a first unless Dennis and Simonson get together, as everyone takes the tightest line they can around those tires at the oak tree. This is where all the chips come out onto the table now, Alex. This is the pass or be passed section of the track. And it's going to be interesting to see how they all come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. You're right on board with Simonson now. He, oh, there we go. He's side by side with Johansson. He's got the lead there from him. Johansson tucks in behind. Will he send it up the inside? Oh, there's contact. Simonson's around. He's gone around. He's been hit in the rear by Johansson, and that's all she wrote for that one. Johansson now fending off Renhofer and Lucetta. We might have missed the battle there for the minor positions as... oh, hang on. Let's get a better angle there, please. iRacing. And it's Renhofer side by side with Johansson, but it will be Johansson. Oh, Renhofer.
Oh, at the line.
Renhofer got it at the line. How about that? I think we better go and have a quick look at a couple of things there. Let's go and have a look at the incident in the braking zone. If I can... yeah, that's almost it. Let's go back again here, and maybe iRacing would help me a bit with a camera angle. Let's go and grab another look here. Slow-mo. Let's grab the chopper. Nah, let's see it from Johansson's cockpit. Everything's going all right. Oh, look at the counter steering under braking. Oh, Simonson's come across there. Johansson really needed to pull that up, though, I think. Let's just go back a little bit and have a look. Right in slow-mo there. Johansson comes to the apex there. Simonson covers off. Probably got the right to do so, but unfortunately, it looks like Johansson's probably not pulled it up in time there. But then it all comes on if we go to the car behind in Renhofer there. Let's see how he does this on the line. They're up the big back straight now. What does he do? I'll tell you what he does. He pulls alongside Renhofer. Look at that. You won't get much closer. Oh, and on the line by a nose. I tell you what, that was some sort of finish there, Corey. I wouldn't have thought. Renhofer was not my pick, that's for sure. But, oh, there's Johansson showing us how it's done after the race as well. But I tell you what, Corey, that was some way to finish this one.
That's exactly right, Alex. And what I'm getting here, the official gap between first and second at the start finish line was a measly 5 thousandths of a second, which is absolutely nothing. What an incredible finish. Renhofer should be overly ecstatic with that. It's a great points day for him and a great I rating day as well, Alex, as the 7 car.
Yeah, absolutely. That was crazy racing out there, Corey. Quite an interesting strategic race, and then quite an exciting finish to it as well. But let's speaking of finishing, let's go and have a look at our race results. Raphael Renhofer taking out his maiden victory, the 7 car here, up 2 positions from qualifying in P3 to take it out here at Virginia International Raceway for round 5 of Sunday Night Lights. Dennis Johansson, look at that, 6/1000ths of a second behind in P2. Doesn't get any closer than that, Corey. And P3 tonight, the ever exciting Manu Lucetta. Don't we want to see some more of him in the coming weeks in P3? Kane Ryder there, the leading ANZ driver, the 12-plated car. Fantastic drive there, in it throughout, I thought. Håkon Grebstad for Team Ovaltine fought back to P5. He did eventually get Team Milo's John Skoltz after a solid recovery from a poor qualifying position, taking out the battle of the chocolate drinks here tonight. Simonson, after getting turned in that final run through the roller coaster in that braking zone there, the best passing opportunity you'll get. And the closing stages, unfortunately, it's all come unstuck for Simonson there, finishing in P7. Craig Briley similarly down in P8 there, the ANZ driver. Toshimasa Hanada, after me calling him mistakenly up about a dozen spots into turn 1, he's finished up in P9 tonight. Francisco Palmer for Iberia in P10. Luke Witten for Team Milo in P11. Tero Merenti from Scandinavian Club in P12 as we go over to the next page of our results. Team Milo boss Russell Clark there in P13, just out of Sunday Night Lights points, as was P14 Kike Sanchez from Iberia. Ricard Duran Alarcon from Iberia similarly down in P15. UK and I's Matthew Willens down in 16th. 17th tonight, team of Escalampy after one of the most spectacular accidents you'll ever see with ANZ's stalwart of Skippy Racing, Kevin Henderson, who both of whom retired after that incident. Kevin finishing in 18th. Strength of field tonight, 34.48, second highest for the week. And Kane Ryder, who we said, great introduction to the series. He did get that magic 207. No doubt draft assisted, but any 207 around here this week will have been. And I tell you what, Corey, I was pretty apprehensive about the week of racing here coming into it because VIR is not the most popular of tracks, but I've got to say, throughout the week, the sessions have been pretty full. It's no free track like we had last week, but plenty of drivers out there putting on a great show throughout the week, mate.
That's exactly right, Alex. And what a spectacle today's race has been. Uh, Absolutely awesome passing opportunities along the main straights there. The tight technical section, which, both of us love, both as drivers and as commentators. And a little bit of information there, Alex. Kane Ryder's fastest lap was done on the very last one.
Yeah, not entirely surprising. We would expect there was a big, long straighter draft there, and he made every poster winner with it. Speaking of which, we have looks like just the one person in for Indy. Oh, just seeing some of the action that held up Mr. Grebstad and the opening lap. I'll tell you what, there was a bit going on there that we missed, but while we were having a look at the front. But we do have Mr. Grebstad, Håkon Grebstad for Team Ovaltine here tonight, finishing with a top 5 after quite an adventurous start to the race. You got the head down and got on with it by the looks.
Yeah, for sure. With the terrible quality that I got in, I got stuck behind all the incidents and yeah, lost a lot of time. I gained a lot of ground on that one, but I lost like 5 seconds to the lead group, and that was unrecoverable from there. But P5, I'll take it. Pretty good finish from where I started. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with the draft, there were a couple of 207s up the front there, which is fairly moving around here. So, yeah, not unsurprising that they would have been hard to catch. But look, I've got to tell you, I don't know about you, Hawken, but I've seen a fair bit of racing here this week, and I've been really pleasantly surprised with the turnout on what traditionally has not been a very popular track.
Yeah, I mean, well, it hasn't been like the craziest strength of fields, but there's been plenty of races going, and most of them have been splitting. So I've done like 6 or 7 this week, so it's been good.
Yeah, well, you've parlayed that into a 9-spot gain after a poor quali and finishing in the top 5 in the second highest strength of field of the weeks. No, nothing to sneeze at, mate. But yeah, the turnouts, like I said, I mean, you had at least 12 of the starts this week over 3K, which is, you know, I can remember a Sunday Night Lights race here, or it was Monday Night Lights back in those days, where we only had only had a single split. So, you know, full marks to the Skippy community for coming out, and full marks to yourself, mate, for continuing to support the series. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
Well, I gotta always thank you guys for putting it on, because this is probably the best race of the week, right? And give a shout out to Benny for giving me a freebie at the end.
Yeah, not entirely of his own making, unfortunately for Benny.
No,
but
no,
that's right. But yeah, listen, thanks for joining us, mate, and we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks.
Thanks, Alex.
There you go, Corey. Team Ovaltine's Håkon Grebstad grabbing an unlikely P5 after qualifying in 14th position here tonight, and making the most of what was left in front of him by the looks.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex. And what a awesome drive it was by Håkon. He was battling it out with Craig Beerley and Toshimasa Hanada the entire race. And then he also got John Skoltz there on the final lap, and also gifted the spot from Benny Simonson, as he alluded to. So that's no mean feat, Alex. +9 on a track where there's realistically only 2 overtaking opportunities. Although, if you ask Lucetta, there's probably a few more that we don't know about. But all in all, it's a great drive by Håkon, and he should be very proud with that 5th place.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Who's your vote for driver of the night tonight?
Well, it's going to be very hard to put it past Håkon just for the sheer amount of positions that he gained. But I definitely have to give the Big Cojones award to Lucetta, just for his determination under brakes, Alex.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the drive up front. Pretty smart for the most part up front. But yeah, Håkon Grebstad, of course, up the most position, so he's our biggest mover of the night. But I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more of Manu Lucetta, who, despite having the best breaks out there tonight, didn't come unstuck and didn't take anyone with him. So hopefully that trend continues, and we can see some more of him in the weeks that remain in the season, as we see a bit of a smiley face come up in the chat. Well done, sir. Well played. All right, folks, that's pretty much close to what we've got here tonight. Corey, what's on the book for the Chaotic One this week?
Well, on Wednesday, over on my Aussie Sim commentator channel, twitch.tv/Aussie_Sim_commentator, we've got the return of the Output Racing League after a 1-week hiatus, where we did, I little bit of a fun race at Eldora in the A NASCARs. So we're going to be returning to Richmond for that. It should be a great broadcast, short little track, which will be interesting to watch over on my channel, twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. On Thursday night, we'll be continuing on the ODSE 360 Power Series this week from the dirt track at Charlotte, which is where usually all the big finals are held. I think we're holding the final there as well, but this week we're there early to have a crack of it. And of course, we got some Friday night race club stuff on Friday night as well, Alex, with the Bathurst 200. I do believe it's in the Skippies this week.
Yeah, looking forward to that one as well. Great to see the Friday back in Friday Night Race Club. Had a great run out there this week at Bathurst. Might even think about turning the stream on myself. But folks, everything Top Split is on your screen at the moment. This race broadcast will be on the Top Split YouTube channel. Join us in the Discord where we do run the broadcast from and the post-race interviews. Of course, Twitch is where you'll find myself, AJ and Corey on a somewhat regular basis, but certainly this is where we get our fix each and every Sunday night. But until next time, folks, thank you very much for joining us on Track and Off. It is greatly appreciated. And on behalf of my co-commentator, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and until next time, ciao for now.